Hey everyone, welcome to A Dad, a Son, and a Game. Today we are going to be reviewing Time and Space.
Time and Space, it's a game from Stronghold Games. An interesting concept of a game, definitely different from most anything I've played. Let's take a look at it and see what we think. Okay, so Time and Space. To understand this game, I need to explain two different types of boards to you, and then understand that this game, I'm going to call it a time replacement game. So this is the main board. The main board of this game doesn't have a whole lot that goes on it, actually. Very little actually goes on, and it's a cool circular board. But basically, your ships travel to the moons here, these moons that have these cardboard upgrades on them. We'll get more into those later. But then also your ships are here, and your ships can take a timer. You get a lot of these timers in the box. Each player controls 2 timers, and so you can use one of your time replacements to make your ship go. So if I put a timer in there, he can start moving towards this next moon. And then when his timer runs out, he's reached this moon. And then the other thing you need to know about the main game board here is I have to reach the other planets to deliver goods. So I have to travel through all these wormholes to get to the other planets. But then also whenever I land on a moon, I'm allowed to take one of these upgrade chips and put it in my research center on my player board, or I have to cycle it down to the bottom. And I don't have all these research chips out for this demonstration, but you get a nice stack of these with a lot of variety that do different things. So that's really all that happens on the main board, is that you travel from planet to planet and you get your upgrade chips there. And the reason why you're traveling is because you want to deliver goods to other planets. So a bulk of my time here I'm going to spend on the more complicated part of the game, the player boards here. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this out here. And these ships are kind of cool. They're just cardboard, but they go together fairly well, and they hold a timer pretty decent. So that's kind of cool. Okay, this is the second part of the game. Everyone has one of these player boards. And this is the Purple Players, or Purple Planets player board. And I'm going to introduce all the components here real quick. You get 2 timers as well that you're going to use to place, like workers in a worker placement game, but you don't take turns. You just wait till your timer runs out to place them again. There's also these upgrade chips that were on the moon that I talked about a little bit. Then there's these little chips up here. These are demand chips, is what they're called. So they represent the demand that the people of the purple planet have. So if I move these demand chips into my planet that says the people of the purple planet want 1 gray good, or they want 2 gray goods, or they want there's a 3 gray goods here somewhere too. Yeah, 3 gray goods, or brown or blue or yellow. The thing I don't get, I mean, thematically, and it's nitpicking, is I'm producing gray and blue and all the colors of goods. Why can't I just make my own goods? Why do I have to ship my goods somewhere else and then get the goods back? I mean, Brian Regan's a pretty funny comedian, and he talks about, have you ever seen a log truck pass another log truck on the freeway? Don't you think a phone call could have saved a lot of trouble? That's kind of like the same idea here. Like, if you're going to nitpick, I guess, that, hey, I can make these goods on my own planet, but then we wouldn't have a game to play. So, at any rate, these goods, demand is generated, goods are produced, and we deliver the goods, which are these cubes, are represented by these cubes, to different planets. So, how do we do that? Well, we place timers different places. Every time you see one of these little timer symbols, that represents something that your timer can do for you. So the beige color up here has a little block up here in the part, and that says every time I place a timer here, I will produce 1 good of that type. And this one says every time I place a timer here, it'll produce a brown or yellow or whatever. So these produce my goods to start out with. And you'll notice there's a 1 in there. That means it's a basic production area. Now this black area here is called my beam station. And the way thematically I see this working is, like in Star Trek, you could get beamed up places and they could send you different places. They could beam you down to a planet or beam you up from a planet. Well, the way how I see this working is my spaceship doesn't have to be on my home world to load up with goods. So it's almost like I can get goods beamed to my spaceship, even if it's like across the galaxy. So, again, thematically, it's a little bit funny that you couldn't just put a beam station on all the planets and just beam goods over, but then we wouldn't have a game again. So basically, the spaceships have a beam station on them, so I can beam goods from these factories into here. So the way how that looks is I place a timer here, I let the timer run out, and a yellow good is produced. At the same time, I place a timer here, and when that timer runs out, I can move one of these goods into here. So that indicates that there's a good that's on my ship. So now I need to find another player who has one of these yellow chips in their planet, and I exchange this cube for one of these yellow chips. Now the way how I get the yellow chips onto my board here is I place another timer over here, right? This timer runs out, I place a timer here, flip it over, let it run out. And then these areas here are like demand centers or something like that, shipping centers maybe, I don't know. But they say this produces one question mark and it's this shape. So that means I can move one of these chips into, see how these spaces are kind of highlighted? I'm not sure if you can see it real well in this video or not, but there's like a highlighted space there and it fits these chips real nicely. So after that time runs out, I can move one of these chips from the top here to the bottom. So I do these 3 placements and they're all ones, phase ones. And then if you remember when I had the main board out, I had these cardboard chip things that were upgrades on the moons. Well, when I landed a moon, I can put one of those in my research station. So when I put one of those in my research station, I place a timer there, let it run out of sand, and then I can place one of these upgraded areas in here. So I can place it anywhere I want. So, but since it's a beige colored one, it would probably be smart to put it on a beige colored tile that I'm going to replace. So if you look here, it has a 2 on the sand timer. That doesn't mean you have to flip the sand timer twice. That just means it's a second tier upgraded production facility. So the first one could only produce 1 gray. Well, now I can produce a gray and a brown. And again, I could have put it here in my demand center or my beam center, but I'm like showing you that I put it here in the production area because it's going to produce goods, so it makes sense for it to replace a production area. So I put a timer there, and instead of just creating 1 good, when that sand runs out, I produce 2 goods. And another option I have is I could place it in an empty spot, not produce goods, but then upgrade and flip it over, and now I have a phase 3 production center. So now I'm producing 3 goods on that center every time that I place a timer there. So that's roughly how the game works. I keep producing cubes, moving them into these black areas that hopefully I upgrade over time so that they hold 3 instead of just 2. So I fill these up with goods, and I go to other planets where they have these cardboard chips, and I trade my goods, my cubes, for chips. And then when I get a chip, I put it below my board. So these are all the purple players' chips, but other players' chips have I'll take a picture of this and put it on the video. There's a little symbol on the top of the number here that indicates which player's chip it is. Well, I put the other player's chips I acquire on the bottom of the board, and I keep my chips that I start the game with at the top. And so the way how scoring's done is kind of clever. It makes you actually have to trade with people. The chips that I have up here basically cancel out the chips down here. So I need to get rid of these chips up here and have chips down here in order to score points. So I've got to put chips through here and then give them away and then get chips from other players at the same time to get my scoring done. So that's basically how it plays. You have a 30-minute timer running all at the same time, and when the 30-minute timer runs out, you're done. So it's how much of this you can do in 30 minutes. It's really, really fast-paced and somewhat frantic. Especially the first couple times you're playing and you aren't sure, do I do this, do I do that? It's not totally fast-paced and furious, but it's like when that sand runs out, it is fast-paced and furious. You're trying to flip it over as quick as you can and get it moved. So what do Luke and I think about it? Well, let's find out now. So that's how you play the game. So Luke, what do you think of the art and theme on this game?
Art and theme, I am going to give it maybe a 7 because the aliens, I don't really know what they are, like astronauts with really tight suits or aliens or what, but
On the front box.
yeah.
Yeah? You don't like them?
No, but the planet, well, yeah, but the good thing about the art is that, like, the thing that makes it over 5 is that the planet, it's almost like Pixar.
Like 3D rendered?
Yeah, like computer made.
For my art and theme, I'm going to say it gets a 7 also. The art is really cool. I like the art. The board is really awesome looking. Like, it's cool how it's round, and I like the wormholes and the planets. The theme is, like, pretty absurd. Like, that you have all this technology to beam things, and, like, you can produce goods on your own planet, but you're still shipping them, and, like, why don't you just beam them to the other planet? Why did you send a ship? And, like, I know it's totally nitpicky, but, like, it's kind of goofy. And I guess the shipping stuff through space thing has kind of been done quite a bit. And at any rate, yeah, the art's okay, though. A 7. It's pretty good art. So, okay, what about the fun factor? What did you think for fun on this game?
Fun factor, I'm going to have to give it a pretty low 5 because I just don't like people yelling at me in such a rush. It's like, what the heck am I doing here? No,
Yeah.
you move your hand over there. What?
Yeah.
Just,
So you felt
Chaos.
very rushed the whole time,
yes.
and you felt like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? Yeah. The other thing too, I'm gonna give it a 5 for fun also, because I feel it's weird because you feel rushed and you feel like you're bored at the same time. Like you're waiting for your timer to run out, and then as soon as it runs out, you're like, oh crap, what do I do? What's the next best choice? And things change enough on the board that you can't pre-plan totally. Like you can kind of predict what people are gonna do, and you're gonna kind of predict what like people are gonna. You can kind of predict what people are gonna do and people are gonna say and like produce, but like you can't totally predict it. So, at any rate, I'm gonna say a 5 for fun because it's just I don't like that like hectic speed type game. So anyway, family factor.
Family factor, I'm going to have to give it a 5 also because just the yelling and the rushing and sensitive kids might start crying because the rushing.
Yeah, the rushed feeling makes you feel a little stressed out. And like the yelling is like you're just in a hectic hurry to try and like say, you produce blue goods and I'll make blue demand and I'll make brown demand if you make brown demand. I mean like you're just getting orders shouted at you from all different directions and stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. That's family factor for me. I'm going to give it a 5 also. I don't think this is even maybe lower, like a 4. This isn't something that my non-gamer wife, no way. And like even Luke, who's played a bunch of games, stresses out about stuff, and like I stress out about stuff, I guess too. And so I don't think it's great for families, honestly, in my opinion. So overall rating.
Overall, I'm going to have to give it a low 5.5 because the rushed feeling is just too much for me. It's just kind of, what do I do?
Yeah. My final thoughts on this game are, it basically, it's a quick game. It's a good 30-minute filler game. So the positives about this game are you can play like a Merchant of Venus flavored type game in 30 minutes, but it doesn't have near the depth. And I feel like people who play this kind of game want that depth, that Empire type control, corporate feeling, and you don't really get that. You get this like feeling of it's like Pit almost or something, like just this always like rush, constantly trade. And so I mean, I don't think it's good for families for sure, and I don't know that I would really even play it with gaming groups that much. It just is, it's not my style. I don't like it, and this is where reviews are totally bogus because we tend to in the gaming community get hive mind pretty bad, and so if Tom Vasel says something's awesome or Quinn says something's awesome, then we all kind of feel like it's awesome. I mean, like I'm guilty of it too. On this one, like, I don't like it, and then that's not to say you're not going to like it, because I'm sure there's people out there who are really going to enjoy this game. They're going to think, oh man, this game's awesome, 30 minutes and I can do a bunch of production and trading and have an economic kind of game in space, and I have to flip timers and all kinds of stuff. Some people are definitely going to like that. I just don't think that it's for me. I don't like it. It's like, and it's like not even, like Escape is kind of got the same timer idea, but it's not the same. Like the real time doesn't work in this kind of theme or this kind of mechanic. I mean, like I like some parts of it. I like how you upgrade your centers, and I like that it is short. And they did something different with the theme on a short game to make it kind of a cool space theme, but I don't like it. What's up?
Also, a main part of a game is to have fun, and I feel like that whole rushing idea kind of takes down the fun, or at least for me, because, I don't know. Because, like, technically getting yelled at and stuff, for most people, it isn't fun.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it is hectic, and so I don't think that's a good thing for a lot of people. Now, some people do love hectic games like that. I mean, Pit sold 1 million copies, and it's probably because it is a hectic game that people love. So, at any rate, Time and Space, overall, we're going to say this isn't necessarily a recommended game for families, in our opinion. Some people were going to love this game, though. I mean, like, there are going to be people who rate this game at, like, a 9 or a 10. Just think it's a cool game because they like that rushed, like, fast-thinking, whatever. But I tend to want a more casual, laid-back type game when I play. So, this is definitely not that. So, if you want a casual, laid-back type game, don't pick this one up, probably. Any other thoughts?
Not really.
Very cool components, very cool board. The timers are pretty cool, too.
They should come out with an expansion called the Bigger Timer Expansion. And it, like, lets you have an hour instead of, like, half hour.
Oh, that'd be terrible. Anyway.
Make the game even worse.
Well, then the part about it that's weird is, like, you put your timer down somewhere and you know what you want to do next time sometimes, but then sometimes the timer runs out and you forget that it's running out because you're busy doing something else and you waste actions. And I get that's the whole point of the game, is that you're supposed to multitask and have lots of streams of thought going at once, but I can't do it. I just can't do it. So because I can't do it, I'm going to say this game's bad, which isn't fair to the game at all. But yeah, it's not for me. I'll just say that. And I'm sure there's people who are going to like this game. I have respect for people who would like this game. I don't think you're dumb for liking this game. It's fine if you do. So, at any rate, I just don't. Alright. So, overall rating for me, I think I said maybe a 5. 4.5, 5.
They should come out with the Beam Delivery Expansion where you have to, like, do some actions to get the beam.
To, like, purchase the beam to start with?
And then like the beam's like single use and you can deliver it to any planet.
Oh, and then you can always have, like, a pathway to another planet?
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. That'd be kind of cool, too. Like, you can invest in getting rid of ships and just having production for your own planet, or production for, like, yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Well, anyway, Stronghold Games, Time and Space, it would be for you if you like those quick, fast-paced games that happen in a short amount of time. It's not for you if you like to play something casual and kick back and be social. That's it. And I tend to be the more social, kickback type gamer, so I didn't like it. Alright, talk to you later. Bye-bye.